I'm already on the record. I have the Chicago Bears making the playoffs this season. Am I crazy? Well, let's talk about it. You're watching the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. To the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. 32 teams, 32 days, and today we're talking about the Chicago Bears. And as I said in the intro, this is my bold prediction team because, guys, I like to come up with some bold predictions every year. I at least want to have one team that no one's expecting to make the playoffs, have them in the playoffs, and hopefully it can come true. But not just because I'm looking for a team, I'm just pulling any random team. I actually do believe that the Chicago Bears roster and their team makeup and their identity is really looking like a playoff team to me, and that they will definitely be a winning team this year. I already tell you right now, I have them going 10-6, and I think the worst case scenario is 8-8. I think the schedule also lines up so perfectly. They get to face the AFC South and a bunch of other crappy teams, to be quite honest with you. I think that it's the perfect storm. We're about to get into their team, look at their strengths, their weaknesses, and then we will look at their schedule, and then we'll get the hell out of here. First of all, their strengths, okay? And this is the number one strength to me. Guys, their linebackers are really, 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 really good. In fact, don't be surprised if this is a top 5, top 3 linebacking core in the NFL. Let's start on the outside linebackers. Pernell, Mcphee, the guy you signed from the Baltimore Ravens a year ago. He came in, he played really well for you. Only problem was last season, it was kind of a one-man band show, but now you have plenty of depth, you have plenty of help helping him out at the outside linebacker position. But this is a player that we know he can bring the pass rush on any given play, and oh, by the way, be a damn good run defender as well. Pernell McPhee, number 1. Number 2, let's add in Lamar Houston. Now, he's had some injury issues in the past and is a little banged up right now as we speak. But this is a guy that's been a consistent and good pass rusher in years past. If he's healthy, he'll be a force to be reckoned with yet again. Next, we have Willie Young. The guy has transitioned to the 3-4 outside linebacker position quite well to me. He's the guy we have to look out for as well. And oh, by the way, there's another one. You drafted Leonard Floyd with the 11th overall pick in this draft. We're talking 4 deep at the outside linebacker position. Man, the exotic blitz packages that will come out of that will be very interesting to watch, and I think this pass rush will be lethal. A lot of people want to poo-poo the Bears secondary. When you have this kind of pass rush, this many guys that are going to be coming at you, rotating and rotating and rotating, you got to look out for that. They're going to be very, very dangerous, and then the inside linebackers are really good, and you just signed them, so we have to make sure that they're going to be good for you, but I don't see why they won't be. We have Jerel Freeman from the Indianapolis Colts. He was the Colts' best defender last season. He was better than Vontae Davis last season. He was their best defender. One of the reasons they were able to keep so many point totals down and go 8-8. Jerel Freeman on the inside, and also next to him, Danny Trevathan from the Denver Broncos. He's familiar with John Fox's scheme. He was damn good for Denver. I thought he was better than Brandon Marshall, that other inside linebacker, that they have in Denver. They have this inside linebacker duo. Assuming they can stay healthy, this will be a really, really good inside linebacker duo, and this will be a really good linebacker core as a whole. I really love these linebackers, and I think they're going to be the staple of this defense. Look out for these linebackers. Now, from there, here's the problem with the Bears, okay? This is the only strength that I have. Now, there are definitely positions, though, that can be strengths, and I don't think that they're too weak. If I don't think that they're weak at all, I think they're actually pretty good, but I just couldn't put them in the strength category. Let's start with the wide receivers. Okay, it was pretty close, but we just had to see Kevin White, right? I mean, I'm a big fan of Kevin White. I think he's going to be really good at the NFL level, but let me just see it first. But we have Alshon Jeffery, who's the number one wide receiver in this league. I mean, the guy may not be top 10, but he's at least top 15 to me, at worst top 20, and hello, that's a number one wide receiver. If you can start for 20 or to 25 out of the 32 teams, congratulations, you're a number one wide receiver. Alshon Jeffery is a number one wide receiver. Kevin White, again, we have to see him be good before we can say that he is good. But hey, I think he's going to be good. And then Eddie Royal had issues staying healthy last season, but this guy was so productive for San Diego. I still have a lot of faith in him. If he can stay healthy, he's going to be a really good slot receiver for you guys. Problem is, behind those three, there's not much. You have Mark Mariani, who's more of a returner. I mean, he had 300 yards last season, which was okay, but, you know, he's just a guy. You drafted Daniel Braverman out of Western Michigan. Apparently, he's been looking pretty good, and we'll see what happens when he comes on the field. So the depth behind those three isn't great, but if Kevin White can really be good, I think this wide receiver position could definitely be a strength for this football team. Next up, you have the defensive line. Eddie Goldman, the guy he drafted last year out of Florida State, really played well, and I expect him to take yet another leap this season and become a really good player on your defensive line. In fact, the best player on your defensive line. I have big faith in Eddie Goldman. This year you drafted Jonathan Bullard in the 3rd round out of Florida. Big confidence in him. I think he's going to be yet another good starter on this defensive line. You signed Akeem Hicks from the New Orleans Saints. He's been one of their better defensive linemen. So you're talking about a 1-2-3 punch right there. Could definitely be a really good punch. But again, we have to see Eddie Goldman be good before I assume that he's going to be good. But if he's good, this will yet again be a position here that is a strength for this football team. And then we're talking about the entire front 7 for the Chicago Bears being a strength for this football team. And that's a really good strength to have. Let's talk about the secondary, because I don't think it's a weakness at all. We're talking about Kyle Fuller, who I thought really solidified himself as a lower tier, admittedly lower tier, but as a number one cornerback in the NFL. I thought he played well last year. I didn't see him get blown up or beat up by a lot of number one wide receivers. I thought he handled himself pretty well last year. I think he's fine on one side. The other side, Tracy Porter. Okay, it seems like this guy's been in the league forever, but he's only like 30 or 31 years old, so he's still actually pretty decent in terms of age. And he started off last year poorly, but if you looked at his last 6 or 7 weeks, actually graded out quite well. You put on the film and the grades match up. The guy played pretty well at the end of last season. So Tracy Porter finally, when he got used to this scheme, got used to John Fox's system, and got his feet wet playing in the NFL consistently again, looked pretty good. And I expect more of that. So Tracy Porter is just fine. You're talking about the other cornerback, Bryce Callahan. Not many people know about him, but he's actually an okay corner right now. Not a liability to me at all. So I think the cornerbacks are just fine. You move on to the safeties. Guys, Adrian Amos, who they drafted in the 5th round last year, this guy's good. This guy's a good free safety. The Bears picked up a huge steal in the draft last season. So for the strong safety position, right now you're starting Jones Quarterly. Behind him, you have DeAndre Houston Carson. And then you also drafted Deion Bush. I expect Deion Bush to end up starting here. But right now, I think it's Jones Quarterly who's there. So I think that's the worst starter in the secondary right now. But I don't think that's bad at all. For this entire Bears defense, people are poo-pooing this defense. I mean, guys, this is a good defense. This is going to be a top 10 defense. I mean, I think the worst starter is that strong safety. I think Tracy Porter is going to be fine on the outside. I think this Bears defense will be the staple for this football team. Let's move on to the offense yet again, and let's talk about the tight ends first. Okay, right now we have Zach Miller, not the Zach Miller of the Seattle Seahawks. We're talking about the old Zach Miller from the Jacksonville Jaguars, the guy who played for Chicago last year and actually had, I believe, like 400 and something yards and looked pretty good. The guy looks like an NFL player again after not being in the NFL for a number of years. I expect him to get 6, maybe even 700 yards this season and be a good tight end for the Chicago Bears. Not a lot of people know about him, but he's actually going to be pretty good, believe you me. We're talking about behind them, Tony Moeaki from the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, the guy hasn't been able to stay healthy worth a lick throughout his entire NFL career. Nothing will change there. And you're also talking about the guy Apparently, there's been another guy that's been showing up there lately. Oh yeah, Rob Hausler, formerly of the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, he's just a backup tight end. So I think the tight ends are fine. I'm interested to see what Zach Miller will do because I think he has some nice potential. Not a lot of people are talking about this guy at all. Let's move on to the quarterback. Okay, Jay Cutler. He's not a weakness for me. I mean, I don't think he's great. I think if we're ranking the 32 starting quarterbacks, I think he ranks, maybe about 23, 24. That's it's not quite a weakness for me because Teddy Bridgewater, I gave him the benefit of the doubt, right? Teddy Bridgewater had what, 14 touchdowns to like 12 interceptions. Jay Cutler had 21 to 11, okay? Jay Cutler's a better quarterback than Teddy Bridgewater. That's just the truth. So if we're going to give Teddy Bridgewater a break, I'm going to give Jay Cutler a bigger break. He's not a weakness. He needs to improve a little bit more. Just throw a little more touchdowns for me. But, hey, there are some impressive games, like when you guys went to Kansas City and won in Kansas City. 2 Green Bay, 1 in Green Bay. He's showing some nice game manager skills, and now that I can see that the Chicago Bears defense is becoming a top 10 defense, I'm very interested to see how he can play in this role of being more of a game manager. I think he's going to have success. I think we're talking about the weaknesses, though, for this football team. I have 2, and they're pretty big. Number 1 for me is the running backs. I'm not a big Jeremy Langford fan at all. 3.6 yards per carry last season. That is bad, okay? And it was behind an offensive line that really wasn't very good. But he was always a guy that never really had much upside. For Michigan State, he was never a guy that was a barn burner or a big power back. I mean, he's a little bit of a power back, but, not a very impressive one. He was always just a guy. That's why he went in the 5th round. So I'm not just going to expect him to realize his potential. What potential? He's never had great potential. Behind him, you're talking about Kadeem Carey. That's pretty much the same story right there. Although he was better, he was better at Arizona State than Jeremy Langford was at Michigan State. But Kadeem Carey is not a great athlete either. So I don't expect him to finally realize how to play football. You're talking about Jacquizz Rodgers. That's just another guy. I think the running backs just aren't very good. And then you're also talking about the offensive line. Man, that's a weakness right now, but I think this one actually has potential. Okay, on the left side, left tackle, Charles Leno Jr. really wasn't very good last year, but this is a 7th round pick out of the 2014 NFL draft. He can still improve a little bit. Okay, he's very young, 24 years old. Now, we're talking about the guard positions. This is what interests me, and this is what could save the offensive line. Left guard right now, Cody Whitehair, who was your 2nd round pick out of Kansas State. The guy actually I think is going to be pretty good at the NFL level. The question is, how long will it take for him to be good? I don't know. We'll see. But, hey, that could be a position of interest right there. Right guard, you're moving Kyle Long back there, thank God, okay? The right tackle experiment really didn't work out, but at that right guard position, boy, he can really be elite. I really liked that move back to right guard. I think that's really going to help this football team long term. Definitely love that move. And then we're looking at the right tackle position. Right there, right now you guys are starting. I don't even know who you guys are. Oh, yeah, Bobby Massey, who you signed from the Arizona Cardinals. Look, the guy really didn't play well at all last year for the Cardinals. They ended up just saying, leave, please. We don't want you to stay here. We're just going to put our faith in DJ Humphries. But maybe this can be a good offensive scheme for him and he'll do well, but I really doubt it. And at your center position right now, you have Ted Larson. This is a guard. Okay, the guy is mainly a guard who's now going to have to play center because Ronis Grasu got injured early. So, there are some questions on this offensive line. It's definitely a weakness, but I think if you can just hope that Cody Whitehair is good, Kyle Long, I think, will be great again, and then Leno can just be improved to be okay. I think the offensive line can definitely be serviceable. So I think when we're talking about the Bears, okay, and why I'm so high on them. First of all, I think the defense is going to be really good. I said top 10. Really, I'm thinking top 8. I'm thinking top 6, 7, top 6. I think we're really talking about a really good defense here just because of those linebackers. That pass rush is going to be so good. Even though their secondary isn't bad. I think it's definitely good enough to where with this pass rush, they're going to have huge success defensively to me. And the run defense is going to be really good as well because the defensive line, they don't let much past them. So I really like the makeup of this team. And also John Fox. I mean, John Fox is a guy that knows how to bring his team to the playoffs. Now, once they get there, he doesn't know how to win a Super Bowl. But in terms of getting there, yeah, he knows how to do it. And in his second year in Carolina, he did it. In his first and second year in Denver, he did it. He knows how to get to the playoffs. I have faith in him to do it here. Let's get to the schedule, and I honestly think it could be a 3-1 start. In fact, I have it being a 3-1 start for this team at least. Okay, you go to Houston. Houston may not have J.J. Watt for this game. I think you guys are actually going to win this game. Next game, you host Philadelphia. I think you guys are definitely going to win this game. Next game, you go to Dallas. This is with them having all their stupid suspensions like Randy Gregory and DeMarcus Lawrence and this guy and that guy. The suspensions are out, and I think you guys could easily win in Dallas. Just contain Ezekiel Elliott, and I think you definitely can do that with this defense. You'll be fine, and you can put up points on their defense. Alshon Jeffery and Kevin White will be eating all night long, okay? Because there's no pass rush to do anything against a bad offensive line. I think this is such an easy matchup here. Go to Dallas, beat Dallas good. But then against the Lions too, I think you guys could definitely win this game. I have it being a loss though. Of these 4 games, I think you're going to win 3 of them. You could even win all 4 and start 4-0 to be quite honest with you. That's really, if I had to go game by game, I might actually pick that. But I'm gonna leave a little room for error there because I think you're going to mess up a little bit for me. Then from there, things are going to get a little difficult. Okay, you're going to go to Indianapolis. I think that's a loss. You guys host Jacksonville. I think you win there. You guys go to Green Bay. You guys beat Green Bay in Green Bay this season, but when it comes to intra-divisional matchups, I just like to give the home team the win, okay? If I think you guys are going to split, that is. If I think their team is going to sweep, then they're just going to sweep. But if I have you guys splitting, and I do, I'm just going to pick the home team to win. So I think you guys lose this one. In terms of hosting Minnesota, you guys got swept by them last year. Hopefully you guys can beat them this year. I think you will. I have you guys beating Minnesota here. So I have you guys winning a lot of games. Let's move on after the bye week. At Tampa Bay, at the New York Giants, excuse me. You need to win one of these games, okay? Because things get a little more difficult after this. Win one of these games. I say it's going to be probably at New York Giants because I think they'll just choke for some reason. So hopefully you guys win that one. And then 2 easy ones, Tennessee and San Francisco. Those are 2 W's, W and W. And then you guys go to Detroit, ouch. And then you guys host the Green Bay Packers. Ouch, but I think you guys can actually win this game, okay? And then you guys host Washington Redskins. I think you guys can win that game. And then you guys go to Minnesota. I think you guys lose that game. I have you guys going 10-6, okay? In best case scenario, I think it's 11-5. You know, not much higher than 10-6, but I think they will lose some games. I don't think that their offense is proficient enough to say, okay, they're going to win 12, 13 games. They're just not going to be good enough offensively. They're going to put up points, but not quite enough to go up to that upside. Worst case scenario, you know, to me, it's 8-8. You know, with this defense and with the elite wide receiver talents that we're talking about, with Jay Cutler being a better game manager in this system, it's 8-8. They have too much talent defensively. Their defense is going to be really, 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 really good. You know, we look at the Houston Texans and the success that they had last season. I don't know why the Bears can't have that kind of success. And they're going up against the AFC South. Okay, so they're basically going to be the Houston Texans, but, you know, up north. To me, I mean, that's what we're talking about here. In fact, they even have Brian Hoyer. So if Jay Cutler gets injured, then you're going to see Brian Hoyer do exactly what he did last season. So I like the Bears this season, guys. I really do. I think their defense is going to be a top 10 defense in this league, and their offense will be good enough to carry them to the playoffs, and we will see what happens. So what do you think about the upcoming Bears season? Comment down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, and most importantly, to subscribe, because every single damn day, here I am, 7 p.m. Central, 8 o'clock Eastern, with a new season preview. So they're playing my music, and you know what that means. This has been the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. Peace.